Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 40 through 43 of Legend of ZhenHuan. Nian Gengyao is officially done. The emperor demotes him to a very low position as a message to any other would-be usurpers. Now that Mei Zhuang sees the bigger plan, she's sorry for doubting ZhenHuan and they reconcile.
Yeah, you should have known better.
With Nian Gengyao all but gone, Chao Guiren deals the final blow to Hua Fei. She tells the empress that she can't hold it in any longer and needs to confess to Hua Fei's misdeeds. She tells everyone about Hua Fei poisoning Wen Yi's food and trying to blame it on ZhenHuan. Hua Fei shows up just as Chao Guiren tells the truth about what happened to Chun. She attacks Chao Guiren for betraying her, which, in a way, is admitting that Chao Guiren is telling the truth. The empress has Hua Fei's staff captured and tortured. Before long, they confess to everything, even some things Chao Guiren didn't know about. The emperor is presented with an airtight case, and he decrees that Hua Fei will be demoted to second-class female attendant. So, Hua dying. It's a huge blow, but knowing Hua, she could still come back. He then confronts Chao Guiren for not saying anything earlier, but she's been preparing for this for a long time. She paints the picture of a poor mother, threatened and forced into silence to protect her child. Thanks in no small part to ZhenHuan's pushing, the emperor accepts her story and even feels sorry for her. He decides to promote her to imperial concubine. It's a testament to how overlooked she is that even though she's one of the few women with a child, she's just now getting to imperial concubine. As the emperor considers what to do with her brother, Hua tries to meet with him, but he refuses to see her even when she bows until her head bleeds. He finally settles on death by suicide for Nian Gengyao, and even has his son executed. Now that Chao Pan is out from under Hua, the emperor begins to see that she is not the quiet, peaceful woman he thought she was, and is actually every bit as vicious as Hua Fei. Should have kept that nasty personality under wraps a while longer. With so many things up in the air, the empress decides this is the perfect time for her to bring in another lackey, Precious Lady Qi. She's new, but seems to know what she's doing as she immediately tries to get close to ZhenHuan, under the pretense that their fathers are friends. Her first night with the emperor also reveals that she has a lot of confidence. Before long, she asks if she can move into ZhenHuan's place. ZhenHuan doesn't live very close to the main palace, but Qi understands that it's not about how close you are to the center, it's about how often the emperor will visit. Though Hua has been demoted to second-class female attendant, no one really bothers trying to make her bow to them. Qi Guiren, being new, tries to strong-arm her into showing some respect, but come on, it's Hua Fei. Some newly crowned 14-year-old isn't going to get her to do anything. ZhenHuan notices one of Hua's old servants creeping around her palace and readies herself for whatever could be coming. One night, when Mei Zhuang is visiting, the servant finally makes his move and lights her palace on fire. Instead of trying to run, ZhenHuan spreads oil around, making sure the fire gets nice and roaring. By the time the emperor arrives, ZhenHuan is weak from smoke inhalation and Mei Zhuang has a bad burn on her arm. They bring out the servant, who confesses to working for Hua. Later that night, we find out that Mei Zhuang burned her arm on purpose. She's really dedicated to getting rid of Hua. It's the end of the road for Hua, and the emperor finally orders her to commit suicide. ZhenHuan decides to go to pay her a visit. Hua Fei, it seems, really does love the emperor. She seems to have some regrets about not being more detached like ZhenHuan is now. No regrets about ZhenHuan's miscarriage, though. Hua Fei stays Hua Fei. Anyway, according to Hua Fei, it was true love, spoiled only by her arrival. ZhenHuan gives her a reality check and tells her the truth about her palace's incense. Hua Fei is overcome with grief and kills herself by slamming her head into a wall. A fittingly dramatic end for the most dramatic character. Rest in peace. Just a few days later, we get the news that Chao Pan has died. The official story is that it was an illness, but the truth is the Empress Dowager and the Emperor decided she was too dangerous to keep around and had her poisoned. Just like that. No fanfare or anything. They were just like, hey, Chao Guiren kinda sucks, huh? Yeah, let's poison her. Then she drinks the poison and that's it. I had to look up the actress and make sure she didn't die mid-filming or something. I was that in disbelief about how they wasted her. With Chao dead, ZhenHuan encourages Hua Fei to adopt Wen Yi. Hua Fei has always doted on her, and unlike some of the other women, she wouldn't use her as a tool to get the emperor's attention. Dr. Wen is put in charge of taking care of Mei Zhuang's burn, but it's taking forever to heal. We find out that she's purposely dumping her medicine so it takes her longer to recover, because she's fallen in love with Dr. Wen. It's actually pretty sweet. The emperor decides to promote ZhenHuan to consort. meaning our 4 consorts will now be ZhenHuan, Qifei, Duanfei, and Jingfei. Lingrong also gets promoted to imperial concubine. We start to focus on Long Keduo, a general that was instrumental in helping the emperor take the throne after his father's death. Him and Nian Gengyao were pretty much his left and right hands, and he's also close with the Empress Dowager as they grew up together. After being betrayed by Nian Gengyao, the emperor has become hyper-suspicious and begins to suspect Long Keduo will rebel, because like Nian Gengyao, he has a lot of power and a powerful supporter in the harem. The morning of her promotion ceremony arrives, and ZhenHuan finds that her clothes have been ripped. The fabric worker tells her that he has a replacement. The gown is old-fashioned but fits, so ZhenHuan makes her way over to the ceremony. When she goes to see the emperor, she's hidden behind some curtains, and he mistakes her for the first empress. When he realizes who she is, the splash of cold water leaves him fuming. Turns out that the dress she's wearing belonged to the first empress, and even though it's obvious she didn't do it on purpose, the emperor blames her for bringing up old wounds. He decides not to promote her and puts her under house arrest. This was obviously a setup, this time by the empress. The emperor's tantrum is a bonus, but the real target is ZhenHuan. There are only a few people that were around when the first empress was, so no one has told her about the resemblance she bears. ZhenHuan realizes that all this time she has just been serving as a replacement to the wife he lost. The empress understands that the emperor will get over it, but ZhenHuan's heart has been irrevocably broken. Mission accomplished, I guess. Oh, ZhenHuan. They made it seem as if she was totally over the emperor when she came back with the butterfly thing and this was all business, but she's obviously not. If there were no longer feelings involved, she wouldn't be this sad. I am very impressed with how long the empress held on to this trump card. Thinking about it, she could have done something like this at any point, but instead waited until ZhenHuan was able to get rid of Hua Fei. Now, if ZhenHuan goes, there will be no one left standing in the empress's way. She really knows how to play the long game. Speaking of the long game, rest in peace Hua Fei, the best of evil consorts. She really is the standard. Even though she wasn't especially smart, her presence was tops. Every time she walked into a room, it was like she owned it. Sometimes it seemed like she literally woke up thinking, how can I make everyone's lives as difficult as possible today? And her quips, her backhanded compliments were gold every time. Not to mention her rivalry with ZhenHuan. She's terrible, but really I'll miss having her around to antagonize everyone and everything. And then immediately after, Chao dies. I still can't believe they just got rid of her like that, not even a proper goodbye. I really think she would have been ZhenHuan's strongest rival, and it would have been interesting to at least see her final form. Finally, Mei Zhuang and Dr. Wen. I've always found it interesting that doctors are allowed to see the consorts in private with their privates intact, but it makes sense. With doctors, you want the best of the best, and the best of the best generally don't want to be castrated. Anyway, I'm rooting for them. One knows a thing or two about pining after someone you have no chance with, so they have that in common at least. Till next time, thanks for watching.